Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm going to show you how I made this beautiful wedding sign, and it was actually pretty simple. I had filmed this back in the fall and just got around to editing it. The bride sent me a few inspirational pictures. I sat down, sketched out what I would need, and headed straight to Home Depot. I purchased this 8-foot board by 4-foot, half-inch thick at Home Depot. I popped it up on the screen. Now, I go to Home Depot at night. I am going to take advantage of the 2 free cuts. So I thought this was the easiest way for the young man to cut the wood. So first I had him cut it in half, the 8-foot board, so it's down to 4 foot. And then the second cut, I had him take both boards and he cut them together to 36 inches in height. And then on the third cut, which you're going to have to pay for, it's not expensive, I had it cut down to 24 inches in width. And remember to take those extra pieces of wood because you're going to build your box out of it. Now, if you're cutting your own wood, just cut 2 pieces, 36 inches in height and 24 inches wide. You're going to give the boards a nice sanding, make sure they're smooth. And then I'm going to start by using the Rustoleum linen white chalk paint. And I give it 1 full coat on both sides. Now, I do sand in between coats because this was a little bit rough, so I want to make sure it's smooth so nobody gets any splinters. Taking the 220 grit sandpaper, I'm going to smooth the boards in between coats. Now, I did about 2 coats of paint, so make sure you just smooth out the chalk paint. Once I'm done sanding, I'm just going to take a rag to remove any of the excess dust. Here I'm going to take polyacrylic in a matte finish. Now, it comes in semi-gloss, whatever you like to use. And I do 2 full coats. This is where it gets tricky to explain because I didn't get it on video, but I'll try my best to explain it to you. With the leftover pieces of wood that we took, we're going to build the flower box. So what I did is I took the long piece of wood and placed it actually on the sign, the width. And so being that we cut it to 24 inches wide, I think I just cut it down 1 inch so it fits onto the board. So I took 2 pieces, as you can see, the front and the bottom, and I glued it, and then I used my nail gun to secure it. Now for the sides of the flower box, I just took the remaining piece of wood, I placed it onto the flower box, took a pencil and just traced where it would fit. I made the 2 cuts, and again, I'm just going to take glue, wood glue, and then my nail gun and secure it in place. Here I'm taking some wood filler, and I'm using my finger just to apply it and just fill in all the nail holes. Once the wood filler is all dried, I'm going to take my hand sander using a 220 grit sandpaper, and I'm really going to give this box a good sanding because the corners are a little sharp and rough, so you just want to make sure no one's going to get splinters or any type of cuts. Now here I'm staining the box. That's what the bride chose. She wanted the sign to be like two-tone. So I'm using my favorite antiquing wax by Waverly. You buy it at Walmart. I think it's a perfect color. So I just give it a coat or 2. After I brush it on, I just take a clean rag and just remove any excess wax. Now this is where it got a little tricky for me. Now this is the way I did it. If you have a better way to attach the box, use it. So I'm going to show you the way I did it where it made sense for me. So I placed the flower box on the sign. I took a level and leveled it out. I used a little bit of painter's tape just to tape the sides. And then I propped it up to see if it was even. So I then took a pencil and just outlined the box onto the sign. So now that I have the flower box nice and even, I'm going to take a piece of scrap wood and put it behind the board. And then I'm going to drill holes. Now I'm using one of my finer drill bits. I don't know exactly the size I use, but a real thin one. And I'm going to drill holes all along the outline of the flower box, leaving about a ½ inch or 1 inch space in between holes. And as you can see here, I'm just going to follow the line and keep making some holes. Once I'm done drilling holes all alongside the outline of the flower box. Now, before I attach the flower box, you're going to want to do this first because it's just so much easier. I purchased a 2-pack of piano hinges. They were 12 inches by 2, so you really just need 1 pack, which will cover the 24 inches in width. And you're just going to screw them on. They're very easy to attach. I purchased them from Amazon. I'll link it in the description. Oh, and just a quick reminder, if you never worked with piano hinges, just make sure before you screw them on that you're placing them right where you would want your sign to close flat. Now I'm going to attach the flower box to the front of the sign. My husband's going to give me a hand, but now you're going to see where the drill holes come in handy because you're going to use it as a guide. So from the back, I'm going to use my nail gun, and in between the holes that I drilled, I'm just going to place a nail in between each one to attach the flower box. Okay, now it's time to attach the piano hinges to the other part of the sign, which is the back. So you're going to have a beautiful A-frame. Now it's time to personalize the sign. I'm using my Silhouette Cameo. If you don't have a vinyl machine, you can always use stencils. I didn't video me applying the vinyl, but the bride did choose black. She wanted it on the white and the stained box. And the vinyl I used on this sign was Oracle, the permanent vinyl, in a matte. Now for the final step, I'm going to attach chain on each side of the sign. I purchased it at Home Depot by the yard, and I took also eye hooks that I purchased at Home Depot. I screwed them in on the inner part of the sign, and you just cut your chain, and then with a pair of pliers, you just attach it. Now that my sign was complete, it was handed off to the florist, and boy, does she make it come alive. Look at those beautiful fall flowers. What a gorgeous sign. I must say this wedding was spectacular. A perfect fall wedding, my favorite season. It really was magical. Congratulations to the bride and groom, and I was honored to make your sign. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you are new here, welcome. I hope you will consider liking and subscribing. And for my Soul Strigger family, you know the drill. Hit that like button. Until next time, ciao, my friends.